Yeah. But, all right, Grant, I think it's time we move on to the subject of the day.
Let's get ready to rumble.
All right, so let's talk about Dragon Age the Veilguard. Let's talk about the early reviews
Let's do it.
that were handed to Pacific people, Pacific publications.
Very specific.
Very Pacific. All right, so right now it's sitting on Metacritic before the release, after all the early reviews have been announced. It's sitting at an 84, I think, on Metacritic all together. And I think Open Critic is like an 85 or something like that. All right, so for our podcast, since we are a gaming podcast, but we'll be live streaming it on the release day. As soon as it comes out, I'll be live streaming it, and we'll go through the character creator, all at the combat. And eventually, once I'm done with the game, we'll give our final opinion on it. But I'm going to give my opinion as I play the game also and what I think about it. But Grant, all right, so for these reviewers, let's go over some reviewers and let's see a common denominator in some of these reviews. Okay, there's a common denominator. And I don't know if these reviews are truthful. Are they playing to their I guess identity politics and being I guess not fair with their reviews, and it could play both ways. But what I've seen is a common denominator in a lot of these reviewers. And so what I did was kind of pull some snapshots of these reviews of the people reviewing them and see if they're actually giving it a fair score instead of playing to their political ideologues or I guess maybe even gender and all that stuff, pronouns, all that stuff. So let's take a little stroll.
And real quick, before you do that, for the people who were really just don't know what we're talking about, this game is getting very big pushback for its strong DEI, leftist type ideology.
Well, the main pushback is forcing things upon you.
Correct.
In a fantasy world.
Yes.
And another thing is that
but Baldur's Gate 3 did it too. No.
Totally different. Way more choices.
Yes.
Way more choices in Baldur's Gate. Okay, but this is kind of like playing. All right, it's adding the word non-binary in gameplay. All right, that is our world social thing.
Yeah.
Or gender thing, whatever. It is our world. Okay? This is supposed to be high fantasy. This is a fantasy game, just like all the other Dragon Ages were. This is a fantasy game put in a fantasy universe. Me as a gamer, I don't want our crap, all of our bullshit that we put in games added into a fantasy game. Dungeons and Dragons, Final Fantasies, whatever. I just don't want our real world crap, our made up shit in Western politics and social settings that you see all the time in every show you watch, on the news. I don't want that in my fantasy universe. And it plays the same to all IPs too.
You will never be a modern day dungeon master. You know that?
No, I would not be. I'd be old school.
I'd have to put up the hand signal on you.
And you put up that X. You gotta put that X up, buddy.
Oh, I'm scared.
Yeah. All right. So let's go over some of these reviewers. Okay. So we'll do the first one. Let's pop the first one in. From the Fade Cafe podcast, Eddie Fade.
Mm-hmm.
They gave it a great review.
No.
What do you notice in this?
A lot.
You notice a lot, right?
Trans flag, he, him pronouns. Okay.
Okay. So that's the first one. Let's go to the next one, Grant. Here's another one from GameSpot. The reviewer for GameSpot gave it a fantastic score.
He, him pronouns.
He, him, right?
Yep.
There's another one.
Mm-hmm.
So let's keep moving. This is Tom Hopkins. He also gave it a fantastic score. So what he did was he gave it a great score, right? Mm-hmm. And I was kind of looking through some of his tweets, and of course so when we brought up the DEI stuff about Suicide Squad, how they made Mrs. Freeze completely stupid,
terrible looking god.
They changed so many things in Suicide Squad to appease a agenda. You could tell it from the bat. Well, he doesn't agree with that. He doesn't think that failed because of DEI. He doesn't think other things that what we brought up in a lot of our last podcasts, such as, putting your ideological opinion on a lot of these designs and how you're going to promote these DLCs, and especially the Suicide Squad. They weren't the only victim.
Yeah.
But he didn't think it failed because of that. He didn't think that game because of they went with this stupid boy girl look of Mrs. Freeze. I mean, you couldn't tell what the hell. It was just it was stupid design. It was not appealing. It was a stupid design for a bad guy, for that version of Mr./Mrs. Freeze. But he doesn't think that. Okay. He agrees that, it failed because of other reasons. No, it failed because it was a stupid idea and no one wanted to play it. All right. And it did filled with a bunch of DEI nonsense. All right, so let's go to the next one. All right, this is Greg Miller. Okay. What do you notice of that? Another great score for the Veilguard, right?
Pronouns.
Okay. We'll get to the point of this, but we're just going to keep on sharing a few things. Okay, here's Luke Mitchell, another Checkpoint Australia journalist. Gave it pretty much a perfect score.
Gay flag pronouns.
Okay. Another perfect score to Dragon Age. Let's keep going. Let's look at this one. All right, this is Emma Flint. Okay, she's from Game Bible. She gave it a great score. I think 92 out of 100, maybe a perfect score. I think she did give it a perfect score. Mm-hmm. All right, well, after this review, she wrote a piece that she said she's so glad that the game lets you identify as transgender. So this tells me this track record of people giving these a perfect score and good reviews, it's all about this ideology, this fucking religion.
Yep.
And I'm still wondering if these are fair scores. We will find out in 2 days if these were fair scores or not. I will give it a fair score. I played RPG since I was 6 years old with the first Final Fantasy. I played RPGs for over 30 years now. Any RPG, major RPG, and at least a lot of them unknown RPGs, at least, ones that slid on the table, I have played and beaten. So I will give this RPG a fair score. All right, so another perfect score. It's great that it has transgenders in the game, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Which, I mean, at the end of the day, you can say there's nothing wrong with it, but the track record of all this put together is showing me that they didn't give it a good score because it was a good game.
Yeah.
They gave it a good score because it fit their damn ideology.
Yep. And they have to.
It promoted it to the point that bigger than most games, any game that has ever came out, major games, can't count Dustborn. That was just a
pile of garbage.
It's a pile of garbage. No one played the damn game. But a lot of people are going to play this game. I'm going to go tell you right now. Like, in my view, I think this is going to be a good RPG game. Like, the basis of it. To be truthful, I think this will be a good RPG. Mm-hmm. Great, elite, game of the year, masterpiece? No.
Not even close.
Okay? I think it will be a good RPG, a solid game. Okay? But I don't trust these reviews because they cannot be truthful sometimes because it is attached to their identity. And this is where I'm kind of getting worried. Like, is this game going to be worse than I think it is going to be? You know what I mean? And a lot of times you can't really trust most reviews, really, if you think about it. There's been reviews of IGN giving games horrible scores, and I've really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the game. And you can say that about a lot of reviewers. But again, they're opinion articles, opinion reviews, maybe. But their reviews, these major publications, are playing to a wide audience. Because a lot of people that aren't on social media, they might just, look in an IGN article directly and think, maybe should I buy this game? But my hesitation is this. You're adding too many of our deisms into this game. Way too much. To the point that you're basically telling me this is just our world. Is it fantasy? It's really not fantasy. I mean, you have stuff from our world that has only developed in maybe the last 10 to 15 years. that has been attached to this game. So let's keep moving on. And this is her continuation of her article. Ever since we first met the Krem, we hoped Bioware would eventually give us the option to play as a trans character. I mean, I don't play a game because I want to play a trans character. I don't play a game because I want to see non-binary or real world isms in a fantasy universe. I don't do it. And I honestly, I was on the verge of not even streaming this game. Like I really am.
Yeah.
But I will, because we promised up front that we will.
Yeah.
So let's keep going. Here's Joshua Duckworth, gaming lead for Game Rant, gave it a fantastic score. What do you notice?
Pronouns. And surprisingly, he's surprisingly from Alabama.
We don't know you're a guy or a girl. You got to state it.
Yeah.
But still more made up stupid shit. Again, all this stuff, people don't remember this. Pronouns and all this stupid crap has only been recent in this last decade or two. Like it's not old. It's new stuff.
I want to say it ramped up around 2016.
Identity politics is going to destroy. All right, if you play identity politics, first you'll destroy your company, you'll destroy your IP, you'll destroy whatever brand you're trying to represent, especially in gaming. You're going to destroy it by playing identity politics because you're too fucking focused on it.
Yeah.
You're not focused on the world building of a fantasy universe.
You'll eventually destroy yourself.
Because your world revolves around that.
Correct.
You know what I mean? That is your world. And everyone else is wrong and you hate them. I mean, we've said it before. It's a cult. It's a religion, dude. And it's getting out of hand. Like, gamers do not want this. They want to escape. They see this shit on Netflix every time they watch any show.
Yeah.
They see it on the news. They see it in everything. They want to escape the real world. Don't bring the real world in these fucking fantasy games. Stop it.
Yeah.
Create a fantasy universe that is nothing to do with our world.
Do you remember what happened to the Umbrella Academy? Like what happened after what's his name? Elliot or Ellen Page?
Yeah.
Yeah. The show went to shit.
Mm-hmm. All right. Here's another reviewer from Digital Chumps, Ben Sheen. Let me pull the other image up. We can tell what this is going to be because he gave Concord an 8.5 out of 10.
Oh my God.
And he gave Star Wars Outlaw 9 out of 10.
Yep. Okay. So
that buggy game with bland combat, great exploration, but come on now.
And look what it says. Look what it says under comments. What does that say? What does that say? Read that.
Which one?
It says comments closed.
Of course they're closed.
Of course
they cannot take feedback. They cannot take criticism. Yeah, you're going to have some trolls, but you're going to have a lot of people putting their opinion out, and you can't take that?
Can you imagine if he didn't give it an 8.5, that it would probably be below a 1.4? like his score is what got it to a 1.4.
So this is just some of the ones that I decided to pull an image for.
Well, here's the thing.
You want to go through all of them and dude, it's rampant for the ones that gave it a perfect score. It's this gender ideology that is just like, it is their world. So if you make any game that is focused on gender dynamics and anything involving that, it's like they have to give the perfect score. Because if they don't, then they'll get attacked by their own crew.
Yeah.
All right, let me close this. So let's continue the same discussion. This is what I'm getting at. Dragon Age, yes. In the past at Dragon Age, you did have that representation a little bit. But you didn't bring our, I guess you can say, our description, like what we call it in our world, non-binary, and have conversations. Dude, I saw a clip of this Canary in Dragon Age, a clip of talking about being non-binary,
yeah,
and talking about his family and stuff like that. And then I saw the choice and discussion that you couldn't continue a story unless you chose that transgender version of it. Like nobody wants. I mean, 99.9% of gamers don't want this shit.
Yeah.
But they think they do. They're appeasing this 1% of people. Majority probably won't play the game, honestly, if we think about it. Or even, they'll play it for a little bit and probably pretend like they liked it, right?
Yeah.
You want to have that too. Pretend like they actually played the game, purchased it, and then, say they liked it. So you have the small majority they're pandering to. And they're creating a real world, our Western society within a fantasy universe, which is like, it really pisses me off.
Yeah.
Because they don't know how to separate. No. Again, if you want to add LGBTQ representation, I don't care. Yeah. Okay? But make it in a fantasy like way. Non-binary, we did that. That's our world. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, why add all these gender ideological words inside a fantasy universe? And you're playing it way too much. They're diving into it way too much, dude.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna get on my soapbox here for a second because I've been thinking about this all day.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna cook a little bit. So
cook, right?
So where we are in this society, we are a divided country. I don't know if we're to the point of beyond repair, but we're getting there. Left and right. That's the battle. The battleground has been drawn in everything, whether you want to realize it or not. I've noticed. I'm starting to realize that. I didn't used to think that way. I didn't used to think like that. I used to always believe that there was hope. And let me tell you what brought me to this conclusion. So last night we put out a tweet. And what did that tweet say? What did you say? You said the gamers will decide.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, gamers will decide if this game is good or not.
And automatically, you had this. Gamers don't know shit. I mean, you saw that.
Yeah. You
saw the right-wing gamers are going to review bomb it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you saw a bunch of, different things like that. I mean, just, along this. But then you had the other opposition that were, well, what if we really don't like it? People trying to find the middle ground.
Yeah.
This and that, but they weren't having it.
Correct.
So let me ask you a question. What political affiliation do you associate trans flag, he, him, all that stuff? You see that? What you automatically assume? What?
It's left.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you automatically assume that the developers are the same way, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going. This is my point about the review bombing and stuff like that, and all this other stuff. What if I was to make a game company, right? Let's just say I created a game company, and let's just say for DEI aspects, I hired Latinos, Asians, African Americans, Indians, yada yada. But one common thing that they all had in common, is they were right-wing Trump supporters. Let's just say that, okay? Is that true DEI?
What do you mean?
Like I'm saying, like, is that would the left consider that true DEI?
Well, that depends if you have a process in place for your hiring practices that is only catered to
I'm letting you know. I'm letting you know right now that everybody, it's all in their Twitter
bios. Random. It's all random in their hiring practice. Like they were hired for their merits and all that stuff.
I'm hiring people based off their ideologies. Is what I'm.
Oh, you are.
Yes. Okay. That's not real DEI. Okay. Me doing that, right? So now let's continue on. I create a game. Let's say I create a Grand Theft Auto type game, right?
Okay.
But it's full of right-wing ideology. I'm talking about whatever you can think of. Whatever you think of right-wing.
It's arms, all that stuff, right?
It's all
Constitution.
It's all in there. Bibles, Christians.
Yeah.
Whatever. Whatever. What do you think would happen when those reviews came out? It would be
a review bombed.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? Why do you think it would get review bombed? Because they don't like our ideologies.
Correct.
Just like we don't like theirs.
Yep.
It's the same fucking thing. There's no middle ground here anymore.
Grant, the difference is they're
We're wrong.
right.
Exactly. Of
No,
course.
they
Of
think
course.
they're right.
Yes, exactly.
Like anything outside their little bubble and anyone is evil, Nazi, bigot.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
The trifecta, right?
Oh yeah.
Nazi, bigot, misogynist.
Racist.
Oh, racist. Honestly, there's
Yeah.
4 of them. I
Yeah.
mean, if you think about it. Anyway, so anyone outside their bubble, they're going to, they're going to argue with, and they're going to say they are evil, right?
Yeah.
That's what they
Yeah.
think. Like a person that believes in Second Amendment rights, Constitution, and stuff like that. Just like you said, if you made a game like that, that's evil.
Mhm.
All right. There's no more. I feel like there's no more common sense people that can. I feel like I'm this way. I can have a regular conversation with any, I guess, left wing person.
Correct.
I could.
Yes,
I could
I
treat
too.
them. They are a person,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
They probably have a family. They
Yeah.
have a life. Of course they do.
Yeah.
I can talk to someone like that. But you have some hard nut cases. Yeah, you can say both sides.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you right now, the majority is on the left.
It is.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The left, it is a fucking mind virus, dude. Like
So-
it's insane that we have to talk about this, but it is. But then it applies over into gaming.
Yeah.
That they think gamers that sit down and just play games, long work day for older people, kids play games, whatever, but they want to be injected into a fantasy world or whatever, sci-fi, fantasy, whatever kind of game you're playing without all this new age, modern day bullshit pounded in their fucking faces that they get everywhere else in the world, movies, TV shows, everywhere. They don't want that. They want a good gameplay with a great story with great gameplay. It's so simple.
That's it.
Well-designed characters. Quit making these fucking characters that represent nobody.
Correct.
That are stupid looking. Okay? You're going to ruin your game. Your game's going to fail if you don't make well-designed characters, especially in RPGs, just like Dragon Age and stuff like that. If you don't make well-designed characters, the game's going to fail.
Now, am I going to say that there's not going to be some review bombs? I'm sure there will be.
There will be.
There will be.
Yes,
that are legit review bombs. Mm-hmm. But what happens if majority of the people just really don't fucking like it? Let's just say that happens. You can't keep propping. You can't let these companies keep propping up shit forever, and that's what they're doing. Eurogamer, all these other fucking companies, they're taking these games, knowing what needs to happen for them to prop this game up.
Yeah,
now, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong. This game could be a great game. It could be.
Yes, it could be.
It could be. But the thing about it is, let's just say it's not. Let's just say 80% of the reviews that are negative are real.
It's going to be
reviews.
It has to be, Grant.
Oh, I know.
You don't understand. It has to be a good game.
Exactly. But you know what's going to happen next? It's going to be people's like me and you, our fault for saying this. It's going to be people like Grum's fault.
It's going to be just because of the negative reviews, the same old shit, and they can't.
It's all. This is what I'm talking about.
They cannot handle the fact that people just don't want this crap in their games, man.
Exactly, and
they cannot comprehend that.
The first reviews. I mean, the first thing they're going to say is they're going to be, and I saw it. I saw a tweet that said it. It's going to be the right wing people who are review bombing it. How can you verify that? Like you can't. You don't know that. You don't know that. What if it's people that identify as you who fucking hate it too?
Yeah.
Then what?
It doesn't
matter.
That's what I'm saying. It is this game is going to be protected.
Oh, this game is already protected.
It is protected.
Yeah.
It's protected from any scrutiny. But we'll see here in the next couple of days when we play it and everyone else gets their hands on it. But like I said, I think it's going to be a solid game. But it's not going to be anything. It's not going to be a 10 out of 10,
Somebody
brother.
fucking said game
Do
of the
not
year.
tell me that.
Somebody said game of the year.
Everything we've seen is a masterpiece. This game is going to be a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Take your cyanide pill, buddy, because that's not going to happen. Just take it now because it will not get game of the year.
Because I'm going to tell you straight up. A masterpiece, like let's say bring up some of the Zeldas, right? That was universal praise for the types of games. Those real masterpieces.
Oh, don't talk about old
Universal.
games. Stop living in the past. That's what they say.
I'm
Stop
talking
living in
about
the
Breath of the
past.
Wild.
Yeah,
That's
stop living in the past. That was 4 years ago.
masterpiece. But it was universally appraised, because it was just a great game, pure and simple.
Yeah.
But when you have people getting early reviews, and the early reviews I've seen, quite a bit of them, completely saying it's a shell of a game, of a
Yeah.
Dragon Age game.
I saw one review guy said he was bored to sleep. He fell
Yes.
asleep playing the game.
So, but those reviews don't count, Grant.
No, those don't count.
Those don't count. Oh,
Those
you
are the
never heard of them. We never heard of them. They're not IGN. Really? Why do you keep defending these major publications?
Exactly.
Why do you keep defending these reviews? I mean, you really think you get a fair review in a lot of these games? No, you don't. It depends on who the company is, what the game is about, what cult they belong to. Let's be honest. Like, what are they pushing, the message? Because you see PC Gamer in these games. You saw that shit on Fortnite and the Kamala Harris and Walt's campaign pushing a new map. Boy,
you think
they were losing their loads in that. They saw that. Boy, they just lost it. They loved it.
You think they'd have done that for Donald Trump?
No, they would not. Of course they wouldn't, Grant. I mean, this is how it is.
They'd have been like Donald Trump, a scourge to gaming.
Yeah. But they released this new map for their campaign, and they're just loving it, dude. Like, game publications are loving it. But we all know, but like, do you really think they're real gamers? No. Yeah.
Also,
they're not. So why are you even entertaining that?
Also, the people who play Fortnite can't even vote. Most of the people.
Most of the people. But yeah, dude. So, I mean, that's another thing. Like, it really has become to the point that, I mean, it's like a completely divided industry.
Yeah, it is.
You have some real good game companies that they don't want anything to do with politics, and they stay out of politics. They stay out of all the ideologies that we do nowadays.
Man.
They make games.
That's it.
And one game I like is what is it called? Moon Game Studios. The guys who made No Rest for the Wicked are still developing it.
Yeah,
it's in early access right now. Love that game.
Yeah,
but I mean, those guys are just talking about content. Patches they're doing. You got a lot of game studios that do that, but then you have game studios that get involved in like real world issues, and you have publications. I mean, they're publications, they can do whatever they want, but I mean, it's like they think we don't notice. Like, they think gamers are dumb. They have no point of view. Like, everyone that has a, I guess, point of view in something, regardless what you're talking about, it matters. And as a game company, if I'm seeing someone that has a critique of my game, I'm taking that seriously.
Yeah.
But a lot of companies just brush it off. Like, oh, right wing.
Yeah, exactly.
Not serious.
And the sad thing about it is like, man, you used to have Juggernaut. Like I don't even consider Ubisoft a Juggernaut anymore.
They're really not.
That's the thing is, 3 years ago, when in a span of 3 years, they have destroyed themselves.
And they still have the same CEO.
Correct. Which is mind-boggling. Which I need to learn how that guy can do that, because I want to be a CEO like him, where I can never get fired, basically. But the thing about it is whenever an Ubisoft game used to come out, you used to be like, oh shit, this game's going to be tight.
Yeah.
But now when the Ubisoft game comes out, you're like, oh, this gun is garbage. And it is. It's garbage before you even play it.
I'm going to pull this tweet up. Let's see. So someone was, you know what? Fextra Life was also, they're a major website. You get a lot of strategy guys for a lot of RPGs off them, right? You know what I'm talking about, Fextra Life.
Mm-hmm.
They hit Dragon Age and they used Grums as a source. Boy, you know what those replies are like,
yeah.
Because it was Grums, right?
Yep.
Just nailing them to the wall.
Yep.
Crucifying them. Like, they don't have a say-so. Like, this game is so perfect that no one else can say anything about it, which is completely untrue for any game, really. That, there's always a negative thing you can find. But this game has to be perfect, Grant. It has to be perfect. Dragon Age is perfect. Yeah. It has to be. But anyway, where is this tweet? I'll find it later. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, like, I was getting into the discussion about the Ubisoft, right? The CEO, how he said he doesn't he doesn't want to push agendas, right? He
Yeah.
said that.
Yeah.
Now we're finding out the SBI, Sweet Baby Incorporated, is still involved in a lot of their DEI shit. That's the tweet I wanted to find. Someone broke it down earlier. They're still involved with that stuff. So you're telling. So where is this memo that you're missing, Mr. CEO? Like,
Yeah.
what is that guy's name? Something. He's French. I forget the guy's name. I really want to.
Pierre, I still have a job.
What's that?
Pierre, I still have a job no matter what.
Yeah. Here, I'm going to share this. Share my screen real quick. Here we go. But I mean, it's like, it's insane. Screen share. Here we go. Let me see if I can magnify that.
Is that porn?
What's that? No. All right. So I had this response. Okay, that's his name, Guillermo or Guillermot.
You're not. You wouldn't be good in Paris.
No, I would not be. But anyway, so he sent out, our goal is not to push any Pacific agenda. Well, he missed the memo because all his designers, his teams and stuff in Ubisoft are leading back to this DEI crap, this Sweet Baby Incorporated infested stuff that gamers don't want.
I wonder if that guy even knows what's going on. Like, I wonder if he knows what games are coming out. He probably still thinks Rainbow Six is still.
You really wonder though, don't you?
For real.
I mean,
Like,
he cannot see what's going on in his company. Like, it's so obvious. Like, I guess he has no social media presence.
Like,
he has nothing, no idea. And so people just keep it in the dark.
The only thing I can think of is if he is majority owner and CEO.
I don't know. But, so, I mean, it's just going to, this stuff it's not going to end. This won't be the first name, but get ready for Mass Effect 5. Now, they said they're bringing back the veterans from the original Mass Effect trilogy to make this new Mass Effect. But you still got other people on your team.
No, boy.
That they got those writers and, other developers. They have to put their message in a game.
This is going to get a hell of a lot worse before it gets a hell of a lot better.
And, we brought up that Stormtrooper thing, like that book.
Yeah.
And the character in that new Stormtrooper book literally had a trans pride flag.
Why?
Part of the armor, like the colors.
What was the point of that?
In Star Wars, in that universe, in a galaxy long time ago, they have a trans flag as part of their colors on their armor.
I'm sure.
Yeah, really?
I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's just these young writers and young developers, man.
They'll spin it to something else. Well, like in this world, it means.
And it's just going to take for some of these guys to just grow up, get back into the real world, which a lot of them, they might never do that. They might never grow up.
The media and all this stuff has poisoned the minds and the hate that these people have.
Well, it's on all your screens. It's on Netflix, Prime.
People
look how they butchered Rings of Power.
There's so much hate in these people's heart. Like, I saw a person who this was weird. And this is what I'm talking about when it comes to hate. Some guy just gave his stance on abortion. He just said, "Hey, this is how I feel." And that's it. Just simple. Mm-hmm. This guy got a message on Instagram that says, "Hey, you stupid F word. I hope your daughter and your wife both get shot and raped." And and this dude is in a picture with a wife and kid. Like, this guy that sent this message has a wife and a child, and he's sending this stuff.
The guy that sent the message?
That sent the message, yes, said this to this guy. It was like, "I hope you're," it was just like,
I mean, we just said it. Like,
and the thing about it is,
cult, dude,
and the thing about it is,
but they think they're right.
And the thing about it is,
what he said, he really believes he thinks he's right.
Yeah,
like, it's so to say to someone like that.
And I didn't get to an argument with the guy, but the guy said this, and this is what he said. He said, "Well, I'm this or whatever," and he was like, "I think that calling people out is basically being, calling their employer and stuff like that is being a pussy." And I was like, "Well, I'm kind of torn on that." I was like, if this man said something, if the man would have said something strictly about me, like you this talk about
Yeah.
me and stuff like, I could take it. I'm just gonna say, either I'm gonna say something about your haircut, I'm gonna eat you up, or I'm gonna leave you alone or whatever. But you bring in somebody's wife and kids, talking about you want them to die and get raped and stuff. You got to pay for that, man. You got to pay for that.
Yeah. That's insane.
Because here's the thing: is do you really want? Because the point I was trying to make is like this guy isn't a representation of your company. Like, so this is what he thinks of people.
You're
and now
fired.
Yeah, exactly. Like this guy represents your company. He also represents the CEO because he has the backing of the CEO that hired you. So
Do you know what
I mean?
came of the guy? Or?
No, I don't know yet. I think this is I think this just happened today.
I mean, that's firing.
Yeah,
You don't say that kind of shit.
you don't say that stuff.
You don't
man.
say it
can't-
because,
you don't say
and
that.
again, yeah. I mean, did he have like his company on his bio and stuff like that?
Probably not on Instagram, but I mean,
Well, it doesn't matter.
You know,
Like
people can find
saying shit
nowadays.
like that.
People can
and
find you nowadays.
Yeah, and you're working somewhere and you say something like that. I mean, that's immediate removal.
Listen to me.
Especially something like that, dude.
Let me just give the audience advice. Don't take it to that level, man. And this goes for both sides. If you got something to say, you can say something about me. Just say whatever you want about me. I don't give a shit. I can take it. I'm a grown man. I can take it. I don't care.
Talking
I
about
can take it.
Shiny ass forehead, man.
All
You
this, man. You
wipe
see
it.
it? You see that?
Yeah, man. It's blinding our viewers right now.
I'm gonna go cook with it. But don't take it to that level, man. Don't go after people's families, man, because that's just, you're going after innocent people that had nothing to do with what. If people are assholes, stick to the topic, man. Stick to them. If you got something to say, you got something. Don't go after people's families, man. That's not the right thing to do. Don't do that, man.
I mean, plus that guy had a family. Like,
yeah, he was posting
is
the
that
picture.
what your image you want your sons and daughters to emulate?
Correct.
Like, what kind of shithead are you?
Exactly.
And if that guy's not fired from his job, like, I'm all for freedom of speech, but that's overboard because you're threatening somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, you're threatening harm to someone and their family. That's overboard, dude. Overboard.
Yeah. Don't do that. Let's not do that. Don't.
And if they're not removed, then think about who runs that company.
Correct. And he could feel
He
the
must
same
be
way.
Like-minded.
Exactly.
Is he part of the hive mind? Does
Exactly.
know right from wrong? I wouldn't want to work at that company.
No, shit, no. That's the thing, man. Is don't take it to that level. It's not worth it because you can't. There's nothing in this world that can get you this worked up to start saying, like, I don't know. Like, here's the thing: is I can get pretty worked up over some stuff. I don't get worked up that much to take it to that level. Like, and I think if you get worked up, take it to that level, you got something else wrong with you, brother. You need to look in the mirror and do some self reflection, and that goes for anybody. As anybody, you don't need to do that for anybody.
I was in the military for 20 years. Like, it takes a lot to get me mad.
Oh, yeah. Well, shit, you have to learn infinite patience doing that.
Yeah. You really do. But let's talk about that, what you just mentioned. Like, say there's no repercussions for that guy, and his CEO thinks the same way. Oh, that guy's a right-wing guy.
Yeah.
I don't mind him talking. Yeah, he deserves to die.
Yeah.
Or whatever like that. Well, the thing is, you have this hive mind infesting these game companies. That's why you don't have a broad, like, when it comes to the game design, creating stories, and a lot of games, they don't have different ideas.
Yeah.
Because everyone thinks the same. And that's due to DEI hiring practices.
Well, that's exactly.
Because we brought this up in another podcast, how people the people that want to become a DEI, strategist or whatever to hire for a company, they accept those jobs. It takes a certain person that thinks a certain way to accept that kind of job. And who do you think they're going to hire? They're going to hire people that think just like them.
And that's why you see, that's why you see all these programmers and all these people working for these companies talking all that shit because they can.
Yeah.
Because their bosses aren't going to say nothing to them.
But see, the thing is, when they hire these political activists, is pretty much what they are.
Basically what they are.
They hire these political activists to represent their companies as community managers or whatever on social media. And they can't, the thing is, these guys, they cannot keep their fucking politics and the way their real world view on things. They can't keep it out. They can't separate it for some reason. They just can't. Because their concept on the world is right. And it's bad to have a company filled with people like that. Because you have no spectrum of thought. like of spectrum of ideas, different ideas, because everyone thinks the same. So you're creating bland games that gamers don't want to fucking play.
Correct.
So if you're a company, a gaming studio, whatever, please, you got to
Stop.
hire people with different backgrounds and stuff like that. DEI is not the solution, because
Correct.
you're not hiring people with a diverse group of people. You're really not. You're not
Now,
hiring diversity.
Now here's the thing. Here's the thing is, and what we're saying is I don't really give a shit what you believe in. I don't care what you believe. Here's the thing is, I don't care if you're Christian, atheist. I don't care if you believe whatever. The thing about it is leave that to yourself. Just make video games. Just make video games. That's it. That's it. You can make whatever the hell you can believe, whatever you want to believe, and you can be and dress and identify as whatever you want to identify as. You can. That's your right. That's your God-given right.
Yeah.
What we're saying is just fucking make video games. That's it.
It's just a simple concept.
Just make video games. It's that simple.
So simple, but they don't.
Nope.
Sometimes. No, they don't want to. They want to inject all that bullshit.
Yep.
But Grant, so in 2 days, we'll do our big live stream for Dragon Age of Velgard. I'll give commentary throughout it, what I think of certain things as we live stream it. Not sure how long the stream will be, but it'll be a good bit for the game. And then I'll play the game offline and bring it back every other day until our next podcast. But yeah.
And the thing about Ed, let me tell you, the thing about Ed is Ed's fair. He's going to tell you things that he likes about he'll actually find. He's not going to sit there and just shit on it. I'm sure, because here's the thing about Ed is Ed can find something good in the shittiest game. Well, except probably Dustborn and maybe Concord. But other than that,
Dustborn was shit.
Ed, the thing about doing this is he's able to find something positive out of anything.
I mean, I'm a gamer for 30 plus years, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I played RPGs for 30 plus years.
Yeah.
You know, when they first came out. I'm not talking about ROM and stuff like that. I'm talking about like when Final Fantasy 1 and Dragon Quest released on regular Nintendo. I played them when I was a kid.
Don't forget Mud.
And I played RPGs throughout my entire life. So I can give you if this is a good RPG or not. But there's a common theme in all those RPGs that I really enjoyed, that I thought were fantastic, is that they were built in this fantastic fantasy world.
I guess
this is why my concern of the Dragon Age, because it is a fantasy world, but it's not complete fantasy.
Yeah. And if it's shitty, he's going to tell you it's shitty. Bottom line. You know, the thing, I guess what I'm trying to say is, you know, a lot of people expect people like us to get on here and just make it a big hate fest, you know, like just hating on everything. And that's not what it is, you know, and mainly you playing it, not me, but, you know.
What are you going to play?
Probably play Z-Mud.